Call the monthly Board of Education meeting to order. Do I have a motion, or can you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I have a motion to adopt the agenda. Mr. Quinn makes a motion. Do I have a second? Mr. Harn, second. All in favor, show of hands. Motion carries. Citizen statements.
Thank you, Mr. President. The board has not received any requests for citizens' participation per board policy BDDH.
All right, thank you. Military update.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. Just a couple updates from the garrison. Some events that we have coming up. There is a Commanding General's Golf Scramble happening this Friday. Extremicon happening the 16th and the 17th at the St. Robert Community Center. A catfish tournament up at Laura, which is the Lake of the Ozark Recreation Center, for $40 for a team, just has to have one DoD ID card holder. And then on the 23rd, a hunting and fishing expo at the Outdoor Recreation Center. Make sure you check out iSportsman for more information.
Mr. Quinn, if you buy a boat, we could probably win that thing. District announcements.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I'd like to welcome our alternative school here. I'm looking forward to hearing about you more in the later in the Spotlight on Education in a few minutes. We will celebrate Military Appreciation Night this Friday, September 15th at the home varsity football game. All active duty and service members and military retirees with a military ID will be admitted free into the game. Tiger Festival of Nations will be held from 5 to 7 on Friday, September 22nd. The event is free and open to the public, and we'd like as many as that would like to attend to come on out and join us. It's a great event. Homecoming is going to be Friday, October 6th. This year's theme is a night out in Hollywood. We will dismiss early on October 6th so that students and their families can participate in the homecoming activities, which include the parade at 2:30, Chamber of Commerce Community Pride Night at 4:30, Homecoming Court Coronation at 6:30, and the football game will begin at 7 p.m. And there's lots of candy thrown out during the homecoming parade. So if you're bringing small children, bring a Walmart sack, and you especially want to sit on the side where Mrs. Rowell and Dr. Goforth are. Businesses who wish to sponsor one of the Waynesville R6 floats or have their windows entered into the Homecoming Business Window Decoration Contest should check out our website and or our district Facebook page. There will be no school on Monday, October 9th for the Teacher in-Service Day. And with this being Patriot Day, I would just like to take a moment to pause and thank all of our first responders, service members, veterans, and heroes in our community who help us in times in need. I always tell our students that you need to look for the helpers when a tragedy hits, and we certainly have many in this community that I'm thankful for today. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve consent agenda items A through J?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Mercer makes a motion. Mr. Anderson, second. All in favor, show of hands. Spotlight on Education. Ms. Mitchell.
All right, thank you, Mr. President and School Board. All right. I would first like to recognize Mr. Chris Kramer as our Certified Spotlight on Education. Mr. Kramer has been with the Alternative Program for 8 years. He's the longest serving staff member that the Waynesville Alternative Program has seen. Mr. Kramer is our go-to guy for knowing what's been done in the past, but he's always willing to update procedures and practices to best fit the needs of our current students. He excels in building relationships with our students and makes it his #1 priority to make sure the students know how much he cares about their success. He has taken the motto from our keynote speaker at Convocation by telling the kids, "I love you and there's nothing you can do about it." And this has truly made a huge impact on our students. After any tough conversation, Mr. Kramer always finishes it with, "Who loves ya?" And even if the kids don't want to say it, they say, "Mr. Kramer." He brings high energy to our program daily and makes us smile. We're very blessed to have him on our team. Thank you, Mr. Kramer. Okay, next, I would like to recognize Mr. Jimmy Foster as our classified spotlight on education. Mr. Foster is a para at Perimeter. He works with our full-time virtual teacher, so he's the only in-person educator in the classroom. This is his first year in education, and he is doing an amazing job keeping the kids interested and engaged. He does not hesitate to ask questions or tackle a hard job. He's incredibly polite and positive, and we are very lucky to have him on our team. Mr. Jimmy Foster. Okay, and finally, I would just like to recognize the entire alternative staff for their dedication to the PLC process. They are also doing a great job paving the way for our perimeter staff, which has now grown. This staff includes Amber York, Chris Kramer, Carrie Botts, Henry Atkinson, and Andrea Adkins. Every week, we sit down together and discuss our alternative students one by one and develop individual plans for success. We monitor behavior, attendance, and academic progress, and we create goals for our students to work towards joining the regular education population. They all focus on building positive relationships with each of our students to understand what each individual needs and how to make them successful. I'm very proud of the work that they do daily. Thank you.
Ms. Mitchell, real quick before you go, so I know what all the programs are that are underneath the alternative programming or alternative schools, but for the community, can you just highlight those, like
absolutely.
perimeter, alternative schools, so that everybody gets the recognition they need?
Yes, oh, absolutely. Okay, so the entire alternative program is the alternative education program, which is our students that have trouble in the regular setting, so they come down to us at the middle school. And then we also have the suspension program that's located there. And then finally, we have perimeter, which was formerly Piney Ridge.
Thank you very
Yes,
much, and thank you all of
absolutely.
you for being here this evening.
Thank you.
Congratulations again. Next, we'll move to Transportation Employee of the Month, Ms. Tronstad.
Good evening. This evening, I'm going to be recognizing our September Employee of the Month. I want to thank you for the opportunity. Our September Employee of the Month will be Oki Treadway. He's one of our bus drivers for the Waynesville School District. He's been working with us for a little over a year. And one of the things I would say, what are some of the benefits of having someone like Oki on your team? When given a task, you do not have to follow up to make sure it is done. He's very patient with his students, even those that are most challenging. When confronted with challenges, he looks for solutions and does not give up. He's dependable, consistent, and a pleasure to work with. If your students ride on his bus, you can be assured that their safety is his #1 priority. I would like to thank Oki for choosing transportation to make a difference in students' lives, our September Employee of the Month.
Next, community recognition. Dr. Goforth.
Thank you, Mr. President. This month, the district would like to recognize Mr. Dorsey Newcomb, representative of SOP, for all their contributions to our schools and community. Mr. Newcomb, would you like to come up and say a few words?
I think I've heard a lot of people sigh when she asked me that question. But good evening to everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to be a partner with our school district. Everyone knows that this school district is a leader in our community, and we know how much our Army partners value the relationship that exists here. This school district has been part of Fort Leonard Wood's success for many years, and without question, it's tied to the future success and potential growth of Fort Leonard Wood. There's no other school district, or there's no other military installation that enjoys the type of relationship with their public school district more so than this one right here. And every time that I get a chance to tell the story about our school district and our community, whether I'm talking to elected officials or I'm talking to senior Army leaders, I brag. We start off by talking about the crown jewel of our community, which is this school district. We talk about how you're a leader in education and use of technology and instructional collaboration and great use of resources, great stewards of resources. And I remind everybody how important federal impact aid is to our community and to our installation and to our school district. And I remind them that when our community steps up, when needs to step up to make sure that we remain eligible for that, we are always, capable of doing that. And that's something to think about for the future. And I was down at the park this afternoon with 442 of our children from our school district here. I was just reminded about how grateful we all should be for those of you that have committed your lives to the education of our children in the public school system, whether it's the bus drivers, the mechanics, the food service workers, the maintenance folks, the paras, the teachers' assistants, the teachers, the administrators. What a remarkable job that you all do here, and I couldn't be proud. And those of you that have heard me talk about us before, there's no one prouder in this community of this school district than I am. And as part of my job as leading the Sustainable Ozarks Partnership, it is absolutely my pleasure to tell our story every single chance I get. So thank you for being a good partner, and here's to the future. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Newcomb. Move to discussion item, construction update. Mr. Harrison.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Newcomb, you're a tough act to follow, but I'll give it a try here. So, I have just a brief construction update tonight. We do have still a couple projects going on. Freedom FEMA Shelter, we actually had the ribbon cutting ceremony for that last week, which was a really nice ceremony. And really excited for that building to be able to provide for our students and staff there, as well as a community, as a place where they can come and use that facility as well. There's just a couple really small items to wrap up on that. They needed to come in and do some grass seeding and just a couple small punch list final items on that. But the building's been turned over, and I believe we had our first all student assembly, and they're all 1,000 students in Freedom was able to fit in one building, so that was really nice. So excited to provide that facility. And then on the WHS restroom renovation, these are some pictures here. This was from the last construction meeting we went to last week. This is on the bottom floor bathroom there by the gymnasium. So they're to the point now to where 3 of the 4 restrooms are renovated, and there's just a few small things to finish up down in the lower level restroom. Just some punch list items and things like that. I believe by this Friday, they say is the last day they're going to be on site and have that completely turned over to the district. So they're turning out really nice, and excited to get those done as well. So any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harrison. Early childhood program update, Dr. Mitchell.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's my honor to share not only about Williams, but about all the early childhood programs that we have in the Waynesville School District. So at Williams, we're a little bit different. We service children who are 3 to 5 years old. Half-day programming is offered at Williams Early Childhood Center. The children in our program have gone through a screening process and/or a special education evaluation to be placed in our program. We coordinate with First Steps. First Steps is a birth to 3-year-old program that services children with disabilities. We take over on the child's 3rd birthday if they still qualify for services. Current enrollment, we're approximately 290 students right now. Give you an idea, last year we ended at about 342. Again, as those children turn 3, they do add to our program. We have 53 staff members this year. Our occupational therapy team really grew this year for the needs of the children. We have 14, soon to be 15 classrooms. We're adding an early childhood special education classroom. And we do have occupational therapists, physical therapists, and speech and language pathologists. So Parker Pre-K is a little bit different than Williams. They're a full-day program. They just opened in the fall of 2022. Students have to be 4 years old by August 1st to attend that program. And they're selected via a lottery that's held in the spring. And there's 40 slots. So then if a child moves, they have a waiting list that they can fill those slots. So currently, they have 40 students enrolled, they have 5 staff members, and they have 2 classrooms. At Williams, we also have a program called Parents as Teachers. Parents as Teachers services families from prenatal all the way to about 3 to 5 years old, depending on if the child has a disability. We have 2 full-time Parents as Teachers educators, and they each service about 50 families. The goal of the Parents as Teachers program is to partner with families to increase parent knowledge of early childhood development, to improve parenting practices, increasing school readiness and success, provide early detection and developmental delays and health issues, help prevent child abuse and neglect, and improve the health and well-being of families with young children. So what we do, both at Parker and at Williams, we really want to lay a firm foundation for future learning. We feel like this is an important age to provide early intervention and to get them prepared for school. So in 2022, 2023, all of our priority standards were above 84% for preschool, and 6 of our standards were above 90%. We work very hard to take these children that we've identified as needing help for school and to prepare them to be successful in kindergarten. And I had the privilege of visiting with a counselor today from Freedom, and that counselor said that the kids that went to Williams and Parker really stand out as kids that are ready to be learners. And that's something that really makes me feel like what we're doing is valuable. So our 3-year-old students, at Williams, we really have a small number of 3-year-olds that would be considered regular education. So the majority of our 3-year-old students do have an IEP, and they're identified as a child with a developmental delay. So they rarely make 80% on all their standards like our 4-year-olds do, but 5 out of the 16 standards that we graded them on did make 80%, and we know that these 3-year-olds do go on to be very successful as 4-year-olds. So in February 2021, DESE updated the learning standards for preschool, which meant we rewrote our standards to make sure that they were aligned with what the state required us to teach and what kindergarten was teaching. So here are the 4 new ones that we wrote. Numerical representation. In our 2nd year of implementation, 84% of our 4-year-olds were proficient or advanced. Develop an awareness of patterns. 90% of our 4-year-olds last year were proficient or advanced. And produces letter sounds, 88% of our students were proficient or advanced. So our teachers are working really hard on those goals. There was one new standard for 3-year-olds, and that was pre-writing strokes. And 71% of our 3-year-olds met proficiency on that standard. Also to support what we do, I just did this evening. We had our first class of Love and Logic parenting classes. We offer these parenting classes free of charge to our families at Williams and Parents as Teachers. The Waynesville Foundation purchases the workbooks, which are $16 a piece.
That way we can offer these classes free of charge to the families. There's no barriers to them coming to attend because we even provide free childcare. Our certified teachers provide the childcare for these families. So they can sit and listen and learn without worrying about their children, and there's no cost to them. So we did our first class tonight. Those classes run for 6 weeks, and then we'll usually do 1 or 2 more in the spring. And then how do we do it? Both Parker and Williams, we use the Emerging Language and Literacy curriculum. This curriculum consists of 2-week units with spiraling skills throughout each unit. So currently, I know Parker was in it last week, and we just started the Shapes and Grocery Store. We are also at Williams in cooperation with this. We're doing a food drive for Snack in the Pack as we talk about what goes on in a grocery store. We believe that college and career readiness is really important to ensure that students are thinking about maybe what they want to do in the future. And I know they're 3, 4, and 5-year-olds, but it's time to inspire them. So in dramatic play, students get the opportunity to play with working in a hair or nail salon, working on a farm, running a grocery store, building houses. And we use all those words like you're a construction worker or you're an engineer, so we can really develop that sense of what they want to do. We also have guest speakers that come in often. So we have representatives from the Missouri Department of Conservation, Dickerson Park Zoo, a local veterinarian, and our wonderful PI partners, Medic and Dentac. They are phenomenal, and they are going to come in and they'll do a health fair for us next Thursday, and they really connect with our students. They've already been racking up the volunteer hours. So do you have any questions for me? The parenting class, we have 19 families enrolled to do our parenting classes. The classes last about an hour to an hour and a half, and all the families seemed very pleased with the class tonight. We also gave them a little slip of homework, which I don't like that word, so I said just a little reminder sheet of some things to practice this week. Yeah. Any other questions?
All right, thank you, Dr. Mitchell. Communication report, Mrs. Ward.
Thank you for this opportunity to provide an update on the communications and marketing for the district. A comprehensive communication plan has been developed to guide us through 2026 based on 9 strategic areas. Under each strategic area, there are specific action steps with timelines, and the plan further includes accountability by naming who is responsible for implementing the plan and who is responsible for monitoring the progress. And this plan does align with our CSIP, which is the Comprehensive School Improvement Plan. The plan involves the district's leaders, teachers, counselors, principals, and other staff members to promote ongoing communication with our stakeholders with frequencies noted. As part of the plan, the district has now developed a comprehensive school calendar that is color-coded by school so that individuals can search in one location for all of the ongoing public events in one location. And the link to that calendar, you can scan the QR code, or it is listed under the district's website under the tab at the top that says Calendar. We have partnered with the Pulaski County Weekly to produce a back-to-school tab and also media guides in addition to the many other items that we publish. In addition, we have developed a promotional video which debuted during our banquet for the civilian aides to the Secretary of the Army in May. And it also is housed on our enrollment page on our website. I want to give a shout out to Kat Poole. She's back there with in the back operating things, and the students that she used in the video production program, who are also here, who created this video.
More than 100 student-centered programs, 11 schools, 1 team. Welcome to Waynesville. Here at Waynesville, we are steeped in tradition through academic excellence and college and career readiness. We provide rigorous collegiate-level academics, and we have access to cutting-edge technology. Our goal is to prepare and empower individual lifelong learners for opportunities as citizens and leaders. Our vision is to excel as a student-centered community of learners that embraces diversity, collaboration, and innovation. This district serves students and their families in Waynesville, St. Robert, and Fort Leonard Wood. Approximately 65 to 70% of our students are military impacted, providing a unique opportunity to experience multiple cultures and languages. Waynesville schools offer a variety of programs to meet the academic needs of individual students, from preschool for children with special needs to dual credit and AP college courses. We are not just here to help your child learn, we are here to help your child grow. Our caring team of teachers and staff are always ready to welcome new students into our Tiger family and help students find where they belong. Waynesville R6 is more than a district. We represent where the orange and black unite with the red, white, and blue. It's a great day to be a Tiger.
And thank you to all of them for making this possible, and for the many teachers and staff members who helped make that possible as well. So one of our focus areas for the upcoming year is going to be to redesign our website. This slide illustrates how the website design is an action step that is within the plan, and that the target implementation date is July of 2024. A high priority for this implementation will be the development of a more robust and user-friendly mobile site, since we know that a majority of our viewers use mobile devices. The website does remain a viable communication tool for the district, as the stats on the slide show the total visits, page views, and targeted visits from all types of devices, including mobile devices and computers. Each term is defined below, and I do want to point out that under page views, repeated views of a single page are counted. This slide highlights our focus areas for the upcoming year, which includes a communication survey that'll be coming out, I believe, in November, continued presence on our social media, and I think it probably comes as no surprise that we have a lot of followers on Facebook, and that our number one going up from last year is over 60%, almost 70% on our Instagram account. We also want to promote volunteer opportunities this year and form a communications and marketing board of advisors. And thank you to the board members and to our district leaders for leading and serving this school district. Of course, I think it's the best. I think it's always a great day to be a Tiger, and it's my pleasure and honor to serve this outstanding school district. Do you have any questions?
All right, thank you. Great job, Ms. Ward. 2023-24 enrollment update, Ms. Bells.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. Usually we report on our enrollment trend numbers in August, but we moved it to September this year because we have adopted a new student information system and we needed to get some items flushed out to give you more accurate numbers. So that's why our star is moved over just 1 month this school year. We are up 91 students across the district. I know that just looking at that chart, it seems really significant, but it is just plus 91 students from where we were this time last year in September. There were increases at Waynesville Middle School and Partridge. Waynesville 6th grade center stayed exactly the same, and there were slight decreases at East, Freedom, Thayer, Wood, and the high school. One thing to note that's different from last year is that the alternative school is now its own site, so they are no longer included in the middle school numbers. And we have had increased numbers at Perimeter this school year. And the next slide just goes building by building, which I'd covered, and I'd be happy to answer any other questions about our enrollment trends for this year.
Any comments or questions? Thank you, Ms. Bells.
Thank you.
Job descriptions, first reading, Dr. Goforth.
Thank you, Mr. President. The following attached proposed job descriptions are presented for your review as a first reading. 4.06.4, transportation driver, trainer, driver, dispatcher. 4.07.3, safety crossing guard. The administration will request approval at the regular October meeting of the Board of Education.
MSBA form updates, first reading, Ms. Bells.
Thank you, Mr. President. Attached for the board's review and consideration are the following forms which have been through the TABS Committee review and revision process. Any comments or suggestions will be accepted between now and the October regular meeting when they will be resubmitted for board approval. ACAF1, prohibition against illegal discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. BBBAF2, school board elections. BBEAF1, school board vacancies. BBFAF1, school board member ethics. EFAF1, food service management.
Okay, we'll move to action items. Proposed job description revision, second reading, Dr. Goforth.
Thank you, Mr. President. The following attached proposed job descriptions are presented for your review as a second reading. 1.01.1, Superintendent. 2.01.1, Assistant Superintendent of Personnel Services. 2.15.3, Assistant Superintendent Instructional Services. 2.47.1, Chief Financial Officer, Director of Information Systems. 2.28.1, Director of Special Services. 2.16.2, Director of Student Services. 2.43.1, Director of Maintenance. Administration is requesting board approval at this time.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
A second? Rouse, second. All in favor, show of hands. Motion carries. SOP Tier 2 sponsorship, Mrs. Bells.
Thank you, Mr. President. Administration recommends a $5,000 contribution to continue our status as a Tier 2 sponsor for the Sustainable Ozark Partnership. This will be our 7th year making this contribution.
Any comments or questions? Do I have a motion? That's second. All in favor, show of hands. Motion carries. 23-24 diversity lessons, Dr. Washington.
Thank you, Mr. President. The attached student and staff diversity lessons for the 23-24 school year were presented to the board as a first reading back in July. Administration is requesting approval at this time or any questions that you guys have.
Is there any comments or questions? Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Is that Mr. You? Do I have a second? Mr. Quinn, second. All in favor, show of hands. Motion carries. Thank you, Dr. Washington. Adult Education Literacy Salary Scale Proposal, Dr. Atkins.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to approve the Adult Education Literacy Salary Scale as presented, and the Adult Education Literacy Program is the Adult GED program.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Mr. Anderson, second. Mr. Harden first. All in favor, show of hands. 7-0, motion carries. District surplus, Mr. Harrison.
Thank you, Mr. President. Administration recommends a motion to declare the excess items and equipment as surplus as presented.
Any comments or questions? Do I have a motion? Mr. Quinn makes a motion. Do I have a second? Mr. Rao makes a second. All in favor, show of hands. Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn? All in favor, show of hands. We are adjourned.